Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of On Brand from Muse by Clio. I'm Nicole Purcell, the president of the Clio Awards. And before I bring out my co-host, Mr. Tim Nudd from Muse by Clio, here's a quick word from our partners at Salesforce. Hey, Tim. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm excited for today's talk because I feel like even now, living in the city, you need a car.
You do need a car. I don't live in the city, but I need a car as well. And we're super excited today to welcome Melissa Grady. She's the CMO of Cadillac. Been a super busy year for everybody, but for Cadillac in particular. They had a big Oscars campaign, which I know seems like forever ago now. Also, a major new vehicle launched this summer, and of course, they're doing all this work lately, reacting to a new marketplace because of COVID. So, excited to talk about all of that and more. So, let's welcome Melissa Grady.
Hi, Melissa.
Hello. I'm very glad to hear that you both need a car. I have several that I can offer you.
Yes, that's what we wanted today. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I love to jump in and get down and dirty personal a little bit and say, working from home, I know has been crazy for everyone. Would love to hear where you're living, who you're living with, and how is it going for you so far?
Yep, I am back in Manhattan now. Normally I'm in Detroit with GM, but during the pandemic, I've been back in Manhattan. I also have a place in the Poconos, so sometimes I'm escaping out to the mountains, which is really nice. I'm with my boyfriend and my dog, and it's been really good. I think what an interesting time for everyone, but I'd say overall really good.
Yeah. So you started with Cadillac in September, so at least you had some time with your team face to face, I would think. So how has it been now, though, that everyone's leaving, you're coming back to New York? How's the communication? Are you getting Zoom fatigue? Like, how is it working with your team now?
Yeah, so I started at Cadillac in September of 2018, and then we moved from New York to Detroit, and then I became the CMO in September of 2019. So there's been a ton of transition since I joined. I think we learned a lot. For those of us who moved, we learned a lot from the move from New York to Detroit. And then bringing in it was basically almost a whole new team coming in. So there was, I think we've gone through a lot of growth as a team together. It's a really unique thing and a little bit of a gift. I think there's not many times in your career when you come into such an established brand and really build out a team. So the team's been great. And I think we have a little bit of I think it was good going in because we were all new together and had really taken a lot of time to try to learn about each other. The flip side of that being, I think we were all new together, but it's really been great. I think we don't do a lot of Zoom, so when we're on Zoom, we have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And we've done things like we did a session with Second City on Zoom, which I was very skeptical about how well that would work. It was fantastic. So there are some things that I think have actually, I think another interesting story about that, one of our interns was telling us the year before, we had rented out Little Caesar Arena in Detroit for all of our interns to have like this expo where they would go around.
Wow.
And well, I think that's what we probably all thought going in was, wow, we're bringing them to Little Caesar Arena. This is so amazing. Yeah. Well, the feedback that we got was it actually was a lot more manageable and engaging digitally. Virtually than being in this big stadium, wandering around, trying to figure out who you're supposed to talk to, what you're supposed to do. So I think, there's the struggles that we all go through every day and trying to stay connected and, figure out how to go through our lives just within our four walls. But then there's the parts of it, I think, where we're learning. There's actually some better.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Melissa, almost everyone we talk to on the show, their business has changed so much in the last 5 to 6 months. I'm wondering sort of how the pandemic affected car buying in the U.S. and sort of how you guys responded to those changes kind of in the market.
Yeah, it's this has been, I think, one of the most fascinating things. While most businesses have pretty easily over the past 10, 20 years really moved to digital, car buying has stayed very much an in-dealer experience. And because of the necessity, because car buying didn't drop off as much as I think probably going in I thought it was going to. So behaviors changed, and the behaviors changed really rapidly. So we have seen a shift of, we have something called Cadillac Live. I like to look at it as sort of your own personal auto show. There are product specialists that are in a studio, and you dial in and it looks very much like this, except it's one way. So if you just went for a run or you are in your pajamas, you have no camera on, and the product specialist then walks you through whichever vehicle you want to see. And we have props there. So if you want to see how does a stroller look in the back, how much headroom is class leading headroom in the XT6, we've got someone who's really tall who will get in the car and show you. So that was something we had launched in January. So before all this happened, we've seen huge growth in the use of that, and it's staying. The other thing is really car deals were happening very much exclusively in dealership before this. Tesla broke the model a little bit, but from traditional car buyers. And we have an e-commerce solution called Shop Click Drive, which has had, again, huge adoption. Things that I think thought were going to take 5 years were happening in 5 weeks. So it's been a pretty huge shift for us, and we're seeing some of that behavior stay, which I'm actually really excited about.
That's interesting. I suppose also folks have wanted to get out on the road, right? I mean, if being in cars is sort of one of the safe places to be. So demand, are the demand trends been up or at least steady?
We're seeing, so demand has been, I think, better than we thought it would be. And there was a little bit of a question of, would this be a U shape, a V shape, or what was the shape of the recovery going to be? We definitely saw a V. There's some plateauing, but you are seeing some shifts in behavior as people don't want to be on public transportation, or like you said, it's your safe space. I think the other thing that's really interesting is, I am someone who travels a ton. Travel is a whole new thing now. I am like, where can I drive to? Yep. And that becomes, as like, we say the new normal. I think that's the new normal right now. It really shifts about how you feel about your vehicle. Especially I think when you look at, I'm someone who, I love public transportation, I love flying, and my car is really my safe space now.
Okay. And also you had an initiative called We Have Your Back. Could you explain to us kind of what that was?
Yeah, so that was, I think, we launched our new brand campaign, which was Make Your Way, at the Oscars. And it was a lot of energy, excitement, and really it was launching our new sedans and really the brand platform for the year. As all of this started to happen, and I think, looking back, we all know exactly what the first couple weeks of the pandemic advertising was, right? So we actually very early on realized that the tone of our current advertising at the time was not going to be right. So in record-breaking time, and again, I joke with the team of like, what we said before you couldn't do in 6 weeks, we've now done in 6 days. So you have a lot of that, and we've raised the bar for ourselves, but we stopped all the advertising we were doing and got a new spot on the air, which was about, if we look at our brand, what is our brand when we look at what we stand for and our values, what is our brand going to be during the pandemic? And it's going to be, we have your back. And what does that look like? It's things like OnStar and free Wi-Fi. Now, you may be in a situation where you need help. A lot of people were working from their cars. And our cars are all Wi-Fi enabled. So you go out and you have this, again, safe space. So it was talking about that. It was talking about if you need payment assistance. A lot of people found themselves in situations that were obviously very unexpected from a financial perspective. So payment assistance. And then I think something we've talked a little about, you can shop online, and you can also, your dealer can bring your car to you, whether that's from service and you need us to pick it up and bring it back, or if that's with a car sale, we can just bring you the car with gloves on. Talk about white glove service, with gloves on, with a mask on, everything sanitized. So it was really about, we quickly said, here's all the different things that we have that we can bring to help you, and this is how we're going to package it up. It's interesting, I think, just quickly on that too. Whereas normally you have a campaign going for a while, we changed our advertising about every 2 weeks going through this, because the situation was changing, and we had some regional differences in it as well.
Okay.
Wow. Well, I'm going to take us back. You did mention about the Oscars. I miss award shows. Obviously, that's what we would do for a living and haven't been able to. But that's such a great spot. I would love to show it quickly and then dive a little deeper into it and talk about, who you used for it.
Yeah, great.
I've driven these roads. The agents, the auditions, then the waiting, the hoping, the dreaming. And suddenly, a TV show. My name in lights. They look, they talk, they see you. But in the end, you make your own way.
Love it. I love Regina King. I love Spike Lee. Why are those two, why were they picked for this? Why are they fitting to the Cadillac brand, and then also your target audience as well?
Yeah, so a lot to go into there, and it was, thank you for showing that spot. I love it, and it really brings me back to that moment, you're right, of the award shows, of some of the last bit of normalcy that we had. So for our Escalade, so around earlier this year, we had the reveal of the Escalade and the launch of both the CT4 and CT5, which are new sedans. They're really fun, exciting, great driving, great style sedans. So we were revealing the Escalade and launching the sedans, and then over the summer we had the reveal of the Lyriq. So a lot going on this year, and this campaign was really our entree into that. And in order to reset ourselves for this year, we wrote a brand manifesto, and that manifesto was called Make Your Way. And Make Your Way was all about, when you look at Cadillac, Cadillac is about, we say raising the bar and raising it higher still. It's, if you go through the whole manifesto, what it comes down to is Cadillac is a lot like the American dream. If you put your heart and soul into something, and if you work hard enough, anything is obtainable, and you can do anything that you want to do. We have a huge history of innovation. We have been the standard of luxury for over 100 years. And so this campaign was about, how do we really express that to everybody? And I say that a lot. Cadillac is such an amazing brand. I really feel like a lot of my job is not to revolutionize the brand. It's not to change anything. It's really to express to people how badass and amazing our brand is. So this was kind of our moment. The Oscars was a great moment to be able to go out and do that. Why Spike and Regina? So Spike has been, Spike's agency has been one of our agencies of record for years.
Oh, wow.
He is obviously such an icon himself. So when you look at something like the Escalade, who better to make a short film about it than Spike? And then who better to partner with him, really, when you think about these iconic people. And like you said, I absolutely love Regina King. Yeah. Her story just really resonated with the manifesto. She started as a TV actress. She then became a film actress. She's now up for a lot of Emmys, Oscars. She's just really been everywhere. She's now a director. She keeps redefining herself. She keeps pushing through and setting the bar and raising it higher and redefining standards. So she was really the perfect person to help us bring that to light at the Oscars for this campaign.
Yeah, Melissa, you mentioned the brand manifesto. I read that you personally kind of rewrote that yourself. Is that true? And also, how important is that internally, kind of on getting everybody aligned toward like what Cadillac represents moving forward?
So a few things on that. I did not write it. I definitely had a hand in some of the sentences, but I was not the actual author of it. I did really make sure, I believe that words are really important. I think the right words are. And I think it really, when you get the words right, really good work comes out of it because you really know what you stand for. I'm really big on insight. And so, I'm a big data person, but data is really only good when it drives to insight. And so helping the team come to, here's the target of the car, here's what we're trying to achieve. I feel like when you get to the point, and we've really almost, we write campaign manifestos a lot right now, because I think getting around those words, when you get to the words that give you the goosebumps and you're like, yeah, that, then when the work matches the words. And that's what we want. We want really good work. So it's been something that we've infused into the process, and I do like to really make sure that those words are right.
Okay. I know we'll get to data again in a little bit, but I wanted to ask you first about this big new launch with the Lyriq, the first all-electric vehicle from Cadillac. I think we have a teaser that we can look at, and then we can kind of chat about that.
That'd be great.
The sun, freed from fears, ascends the sky. We rise to meet the road. Inspired by ceaseless innovation, we greet with gratitude the next generation. Newfound freedoms, great vistas, moments that become memories. The birds renew their notes, and through the air their mingled music floats. Sounds and sweet airs that give delight propel us into a new day. It is bright.
So I guess I'm curious how you guys are positioning Lyriq in the market, and also how COVID sort of changed your best laid plans for marketing this vehicle.
So a few things on that, and I'll start with, I love this vehicle. I cannot wait for this vehicle to come out. It is beautiful. The performance is amazing. The technology is really the next step in a lot of things that we have today, like the AR HUD, the OLED screen. It's just, I'm so, every time I see that car, I'm very excited. So what does that mean for where it's positioned in the marketplace? I think it's, there's a definite huge shift towards EV right now. And as we're seeing that EV adoption move up, this car is really perfect for anyone who is looking to get into an EV and wants a car that has a lot of the technology they're familiar with. We're making sure that the consumer experience and the charging ecosystem, everything, are going to be in really good shape by the time it gets here. But it's really honestly also not just for that EV mindset. It's for anyone who really is looking for a crossover. It works really well across a lot of things. So I think really wide appeal on it.
Okay. And did you have to change the marketing plans significantly because of the pandemic?
So as this car doesn't come out until 2022, we didn't, except for the fact that this is a big shift. So everything with the vehicle is staying the same. The big shift was we were supposed to have our reveal event live in April, which obviously got shifted. At first looking for another time to put in a live thing. I think we, like a lot of people, were like, well, maybe if we wait till fall. And then as we went through, we realized that this was going to need to be a virtual event. And then we said, how do we make sure that this is something that probably has even better reach than we would have had if we had a live event, and make it something that people really want to watch and engage with? And, we've had on that video that you've shown, our full reveal video has had over 9 million views so far. So I think we've really, we've gotten the word out, and people are really excited. The feedback has been phenomenal. So a little bit of a shift, but I think we ended in a better place.
Gotcha.
Are you doing ride and drives with it? Are you going to be able to do that?
We will. So as
we want to put our hand up for that as well.
Okay, got you. Yeah, so it's definitely going to be about a little over a year before we can do that, but we will be.
Awesome. So you were talking about data, your data-driven approach to creativity. Is that something that you brought into Cadillac? And also, can you give us some examples of how you work with data and how it helped you with your creativity after the working on these different campaigns?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's, I definitely didn't bring data or a data mindset to Cadillac, but I do think that I've changed fundamentally a lot of the way that we're doing things. Deborah Wall, who is the global CMO of GM, brought me into Cadillac, and it was really, her desire to shift towards, we say performance marketing, but when we say performance marketing, it's because all marketing needs to perform, whether you're building a brand and how do you measure that, or you're driving in market sales, or, whatever it is that you're doing, you need to bring measurement and discipline to it. So I think one of the things that has really changed over the past year and a half is the way that we're targeting. So we have created some models that basically will tell you out of the entire US who's most likely to be a Cadillac customer. And so normally you say, okay, who is 25 to 54, and then maybe we layer an income, and that's our target, and then we'll go find some TV shows that we think align, and then we'll run there. What we're doing is we're actually flipping that on its head. We modeled out, we took our owner data, we built a model, and the model works really well. We've tested it against syndicated data, and it says these people are likely to be a Cadillac owner. It's our future owner file, I call it. So we then market to those people almost, if you think of if all channels were digital, we will, where we can, direct match, whether that's in digital or whether it's in addressable or programmatic TV, or if we're looking at, so for things like, with linear, NCAA was a big thing for us last year. And the way that we got to that was we took our audience and we indexed them against different sports. And we saw that NCAA had a huge index for us. And then we were able to go and do something really unique and different with the NCAA on how we showed up. So that's how we tend to bring things, is we first find where our audience is. And then we try to find places where we're not just running spots, but we can really connect in a different and meaningful way with them.
That's really interesting. I think before you were CMO, you were sort of the head of media and performance marketing. So I'm wondering how you balance those things with sort of the more brand building approach, and how you think about how those two things fit together.
Yeah, and that is exactly what, I think the theory of performance is. And I've done a ton of research. We've done some internally, and I've also read a lot about the ways that opinion and consideration, particularly, but how those basic brand metrics drive sales and shareholder value. It's really interesting when you look at the recession, brands that had a really strong opinion going in took longer to go down and bounce back faster. So there's a lot of data around that. So even when I was in media performance marketing, that was including brand building. And so we have different things where we're constantly measuring how are we driving key brand metrics, and then how are we driving key buying actions on our site or actual sales. And we've started even getting down to the point of holding out control groups with our advertising.
Okay. Well, now that you've been in the CMO role for, I guess, almost going on a year now, are there some things that you've learned that might be useful for other CMOs, regardless of what industry they might be in?
I think I've had a particularly interesting year as CMO because we had the United Auto Workers strike shortly after, and then had a lot of inventory challenges we were up against. Then we relaunched our brand at the Oscars, and then we went into the pandemic and a lot of the social unrest and equality initiatives that we've had. So my biggest lesson that I can share with people is be ready for anything. And it's in those difficult moments when you can really prove what you can do, and just be ready to take in information and pivot. Because I think there's the saying of, if you want to show that I can't even remember how it is, but it's something like, if you want to show a good plan, just write it down, and then it's going to change what it is.
Yeah, I think there's a book in the making right there.
Yeah, my first year as a CMO, totally.
Yeah.
I guess I'm also just wondering what the next 6 to 12 months looks like. No one can predict much at the moment, but what do you guys have coming down the pike that we should know about?
For us, the next 6 to 12 months are really exciting. Escalade is just coming into market over the next couple of months, so you will see the next phase of the campaign that we just went through. And then we've got Lyriq, and there's going to be a lot more communication going on as we unfold that story. And really, I think use a lot of our, it's a way for us to really express a lot of our technology stories. We have something called Super Cruise, which is autonomous driving or semi-autonomous driving. And it's hands-free, and it's amazing. It's really, really amazing. When you look at our AR HUD, and this is something that's in T1. These are technologies that I think are real game changers. And so as we're able to let people know about that and bring those to the world, it's going to be, I think, a really exciting time. And I'm very excited about Lyriq as we move into electrification, and that's going to be a whole new adventure for us.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on everything, and thank you for spending your time with us. Next time, we're definitely going to have some wine. As a fellow corp dork, we're definitely going to do that. Thank you so much again, and good luck as, hopefully COVID starts to end next year. That's okay.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Thank you, Melissa. That was great.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
We're definitely going to ride and drive with Lyriq. So
for sure.
That we're going to follow up with Melissa on that definitely when we have cocktails.
It does
Good
look
to see
like
you, Tim.
Bye. Good to see you. And thank you guys for watching. For the latest in creativity every day, please visit musebykclio.com. And we're back here every Thursday with new episodes of On Brand. Thanks for watching.